Hello and welcome back to another episode. Today is episode 25. We've been doing this for 25 weeks. How crazy is that? Now, next week I'm away in Portugal, so I've got to record 2 episodes this week. So to make it easy for myself, I am going to do a world tour this week, so I can just whack it out as quick as I can and then focus on the next episode, which will go out while I'm actually in Portugal. So if you're seeing this, I'm working on that episode. So let's take it all the way back to when this world was completely empty. So here it is, back where it all first started, with the world looking like this, fresh as a daisy. And as you can see, we spawned in this swamp area here. And after these 25 weeks, the world is looking quite different. So I'm currently stood there at my spawn location, and as you can see, it no longer looks like a swamp. But let's take it all the way back to where we began. We began, of course, in this village over here, where we were doing a lot of farming. So the challenge I set myself for this world, and I still carry on with this challenge, is that I am not using a crafting table. So that means that I had to start off by making a crafter, which unfortunately I had to actually use a crafting table to make at the time. So the crafting table and the crafter are actually in these decorated pots here. So the very first crafting table that is the only one that I've crafted things in, is in one of these pots, and then the very first one is in the other one. So of course that crafting table had to be used to make a dropper, and then the crafter itself, and after that no more crafting tables. So this is kind of a temporary monument to where we started, and I would like to do something with those 2 blocks later on. I've got a plan for that, so that will be a future plan. So we started off in this village, and as with all Minecraft worlds, I started off with some small farms and some villager trading in order to get all of the gear. So I've got many librarians and other villagers that I'm using to get our books and gear. After episodes 1 and 2's adventure in trying to unlock auto crafting, episode 3 saw me come out to this birch forest and begin a building project which is still going on. I haven't done too much on this, but this is what the area looked like before, and here's what the area looks like currently. Now, the only thing I built in episode 3 was this house right here. As you can see, it is kind of Tudor-ish style. It's a little bit ruined, and it is a witch theme. So this is a witch's village. We have a summoning circle on the roof with a lot of floating candles around on the top there. So as you can see, this is kind of the style that we're going for in the future. It is currently the only building in this village. If we go inside, we will see it's unfurnished, aside from upstairs, where there is a mouth on the inside where the summoning circle is. Episode 4 saw me start off the project in the caves, the haunted caves, which is my skeleton farm, where the cave hooks up above to the village, and we have kind of a bone pit, the skeleton farm, a ribcage there, and down below we have our storage system with the first dabble into auto crafting, where I was auto crafting dispensers. This was the first big redstone contraption here that I had to make. And it's the first time I actually automate something using auto crafters, and that is down here, our dispenser auto crafter, which is a design that I'm also currently using elsewhere in the world. Because that skeleton grinder needed so many hoppers and other iron components, I started off by making our first farm here, which is our iron farm, and it has been one that I've been using for many years, and has just since been modified using auto crafters and other things like that. Episode 5 saw us make our first mob farm, which is this witch farm here, which was collecting up all of the redstone resources, which created the initial factory things. So it's my own design here, although it's very similar to a lot of other people's designs. Inside there is target blocks which receive power, which open the trapdoors and let the water out when a witch triggers the tripwires. Okay, so the storage system was initially up the top here, along with the killing chamber. Since then, I have changed things up. I have added an automatic killing mode down the bottom so that things don't despawn up here, and I have since relocated all of the drops from up here down into the factory below, aside from sugar, spider eyes, and witch heads. Episode 5 also saw me take on the trial chamber, the version of it until I got the mace, which in episode 6 I used to one-shot the Ender Dragon, and that took about 10 attempts where I finally got it. Episode 7 saw the construction of my shulker farm, which is producing all of the shulker boxes needed to the factory. It's currently not hooked up with the factory, and the drops currently need to be manually inserted in. Also in episode 7 was an absolutely huge one for the factory, as it started off building the auto crafting system. Now this was just the storage and the concept behind it, where you would be able to check in all of these boxes here and just grab stacks of whatever it is that you need that we are still currently working towards today. Or you could grab a full box in there. Episode 8 saw the creation of this bamboo farm, as well as my cobblestone and stone farms, as well as all of the logic behind the auto crafting system, which would tell me what resources I needed to gather and then which ones would auto craft in altogether. Episode 9 was where things got real. The factory really started to come together and the auto crafting modules were put in. Now these were redesigned 3 times before finally settling on the designs that we currently have now, and so everything we've got here is being auto crafted by these designs here that we made during that episode. Episode 10 saw the creation of the first half of this wall here. This was the storage system for the crafting material, so where they come in from the farms and then be stored here. So as you can see, they are being stored in shulker boxes of items here, and then they are being dispensed out into item streams down below, which then circle around the factory itself. So the first half of these came in episode 10, and episode 10 also saw the addition of the automatic shelter down the bottom there, as well as my adventures in an ancient city. Episodes 11 and 12 then saw the start of my forest project, which eventually is going to encompass this whole area here, but for the time being there's about 30 trees currently sat in here on custom terrain, all custom trees with also custom bushes in there, and started work on this river here. We also added in some nice birds up the top there. So as you can see, it's got a lot of room to grow, but it's still quite impressive just as it is here, and is one of the things that I'm really looking forward to expanding, because the finished product is going to look absolutely fantastic. So lots of small little details that are in here, lots more that can be added in. As you can see, these little bushes, wherever there's a big gap in the trees, there's going to be more foliage underneath, and that is kind of the whole vibe for this area. If I had to do it again, I'll make the trees slightly shorter. The trunks are probably just a tad too tall, but that's probably something that I can carry on as we go and just slowly lower the trees a little bit so it doesn't look as tall here. And I'm really happy with the terrain and the inspiration and just everything going on with this. I just know that it's a lot of work for this project, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. What we did was build 5 different trees, and then these are all just schematics of them rotated different ways. So you might be able to see that some are very similar. These ones, no. So that one there and this one I believe are the same but flipped. A lot of them you'll be able to see. These two here are going to be the same but flipped. These ones here, you'll be able to notice if you kind of look, and then we added on kind of the brighter bushes where the sun would hit, just to make it that little bit more logical with how things would go. So that was episodes 11 and 12, and of course, how can we forget those little birds there? Episode 13 saw us head to the Nether, where we constructed a gold farm and bartering setup, and we made the whole thing smart. So it's taking redstone signals from the overworld to here, and it's also sending items back in to the overworld. So that is my source of XP, it's my source of gold, and it's my source of a lot of other materials that are in the factory. So this is a really successful farm, and it's one that I've had the most fun probably designing, like the smart systems for, because as you can see, we've got the piglin bartering here, so the gold needs to kind of split between going through as gold to be used in the factory, or going to the piglin bartering to then be made into items to be used in the factory. So this has been perfected over a few little episodes, the main one being episode 13, which is where we get the bulk of things done, but then in a later episode we do come back and change up some storage systems for the bartering setup. Episode 14 was a Halloween special where we went around and we collected a load of pumpkin, jack-o'-lantern and baby pumpkin and jack-o'-lantern mobs that only spawn on Halloween. I've since had some of them die because of a stupid wandering trader which killed the ones that were here. Well, the llamas were stupid, but I've since got revenge on them. Now, as we watch this beautiful sunset, please make sure you subscribe to make sure you never miss one of the videos. They have been 25 so far, and I'm sure the next ones are going to be awesome as well because I have many plans for the future. Episodes 15, 16 and 17 is really where the factory took off. I finished the second half of the material storage and I redesigned the crafting modules here that were originally over in this bit here. So now that we've come to kind of the whole bit of the factory, let's go over how this thing works. So I am going to take you through being the life of a bamboo plank. So you begin life as a bamboo plank as part of the bamboo farm. You are then farmed as a piece of bamboo and then dropped off into these crafters down here. They then craft you into bamboo blocks and then bamboo planks, and then you join this water stream and then you get shot off and join over here. You then get filtered down below. You then join into a shulker box with many more of your fellow bamboo planks. Then when this is full, it falls down through all of these hoppers here, and then it ends up here where it is unloaded into this dropper here. This dropper then spits you out, and then you join up with this water stream here, and that takes you up the top here, and then it starts flowing you through the crafting module. So the first place it takes you is over our dispenser crafting module because it's awkward, but because you're not used up in that, you pass straight through. Then you journey down to the crafting material module, which if you are used, you will then be picked up and then crafted into said item. So that's not good. No, that's not good. Problem for later. Don't talk to me. We're not doing any improvements here. Damn it. Oh. What? So our crafting module here, this is creating any components that are used in other crafting recipes. So this is also creating final products like the redstone torch, but because they are used in other products, then they need to be crafted over here and then sent over to the crafting factory itself. So the way this works is that hoppers pick them up, and then we detect when those hoppers are full so that we can save the recipe, and then that crafts them. Then those ones there are stored in a very similar manner to our raw ingredients. They also get spat out, but they join a different water stream, which joins up over here, and then it goes over to the main bulk of the system. Now, if it is a material that is one of these ones, then it will just have a simple impulse item filter, which brings it down to be stored here and then into the storage itself here. But if it is not, then it is the same design as we used there, where it will craft it up into whatever material it is. So this one here is picking up redstone, which means underneath is our redstone block auto crafter. The smart thing about this system is that whenever this dispenser here has a shulker box full of items in it, it will lock the crafter or the filter from picking up any items. When it does this as well, it then sends a signal down to this mass of redstone wiring down here. So if we take polished deep slate, polished deep slate is being requested by two things, our polished deep slate itself and the slabs. So both of these are finished crafting, so these blocks here have extended, which then turns off this line, which turns on this one, and then it extends this piston. Because this piston is extended, the observer has turned off this bulb, which means that it locks this dropper and none of the materials are being requested. That allows this system here to back up once it backs up to this chest here. Then, round the back, the cobbled deep slate line can then turn off and then it stops requesting cobbled deep slate. So as you can see, I needed a line underneath for every single thing that is used in this factory itself. So if we start over here, not everything's been finished yet because I don't currently have the blaze powder to create Eyes of Ender, and so that one is currently not working. But as you can see, we have every single other one in, and it is a complete mess of wiring in here. As it is color coded, I can cut and very easily see where each line is, where it goes to, and if needed, fix any bugs with it. So for example, I know that this line of oak logs here is the chest line. So chests here are going to be, of course, requested by multiple things: our trap chest, our hoppers, and our regular chests. So when all of those are finished, then this one needs to extend, which it has. So that is kind of what this system here is all about, and all of the spaghetti mess that it has made. Episode 18 saw the creation of my storage system, which is Ethos Labs design, and he is the GOAT and has inspired me with storage solutions for a long time. I've always wanted to try this one. I'm currently in the process of doing so. I finished 3 of his boxes, where as you can see they are nice and organized, and then they get fed in from above whenever they're empty. So you store one of these here and one of these in your ender chest, and then every time you need to refill, you can just come and swap over to a fresh new one. Now the interesting part of this is down below, where is the other half of the storage system. So let's come over to our dirt one here, where you can see that there is moss carpet stored in this one here. So this is just any items that you have a few of. And then over here you've got shulker boxes, which have any that has more than just a few that you don't want to just be taking up this barrel with. And then this one here also has that. When you want to select one of these, you throw it, it lands in the mud, and then it swaps over. The full boxes you then put in this chest here, so you can easily see how much of things that you've got. So I've got a lot of these different designs here, and this has been a very useful addition. Episode 19 saw the creation of this slime farm here. It is a swamp-based one, as you can see, and it has all of the brown mushrooms stopping the light levels so only slimes can spawn in, and then they come and jump in this pit and give me all of the slime that I could ever need. Now, what do I need this slime for, you may be wondering? Well, how on earth would I get all of that cobbled deep slate for the factory? Well, of course, it would be through a giant mining machine. So if we come back over to the village and we drop down the mine shaft here, we can come down to my mining area where I have built a giant tunnel bore. Now, this is the same one that Doc uses, and this is how I've been getting a lot of my resources. So that is what all of the slime has been put to use for. It's quite large. I've done quite a lot of mining here, and it's gotten me a lot of different ores. Episode 20 saw quite a big project for me, as I do not like planning, where I planned out our witch's village, and as you can see, we have the shape of a pentagram, and we're going to have 5 restored buildings by the witches on the 5 corners, and then these yellow ones are going to be ruins, and then we've got paths in here. This middle section here is going to be the mine with the area that leads down into that spider spawner that we saw earlier. The plan for this area is to have it all fully surrounded in forest, so I've done a really good job of clearing this area out, and of course I've collected all of the birch leaves from this, because this was a birch forest, as most of them are going to be going into this here project, and I have about 100, well no, I have more than 100,000 birch leaves here, so stockpiling for the eventual project over this way here. Now, there is a lot of wool that's been used to make this outline here, so we of course made a sheep farm back at the main storage. Now I realise I haven't actually shown you where these two things are in relation to each other in these two projects, so this is where we are here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start making some maps so we can make a nice big map room here. So I'm going to come to the very edge of this project over here, and then we'll start making some maps over. So here is the kind of edge of the forest. Let's make our first map here, and there it is. We've got a nice bit of it there. So this is our furthest this way map, and what I'm going to do is that we're going to fly over, and then every time we leave the area we'll then get a new map in. So we can start mapping out, as maps are genuinely my favourite part of this game. We've got another one there that has all the pentagrams in it. It's going to take a little bit of a while as I fly down and land. So there we go, our next map. Let's just make sure we can fill it all in. So it's not a small project, As you can see, it takes up about 3 or so maps. Where are we on this one? Let's go, let's do an up map from here. So if we go here, and then I don't need this many tools on my hotbar, so I can make room for more maps. So we are currently standing just north of this one. Oh, quite a bit north. That should be fine. So we're in this one. Let's now head this way. We get another one. And this way again. And then we're going to keep heading over to the coast here. Oh, let me land so I can swap over. So that one goes there. This is going to be an absolute jigsaw in a minute. And then we keep on going. So now we're out of this one. We've got another one there. And then we reach the coast. One more over. And let's start heading up north now. So that one goes there. Now we should start to see the village. Yeah. So there's the first bit of the village, which goes there. And then I'll make sure that I'm in the village. Yep. So that one then goes right here, which then goes there. Okay, excellent. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to lay out the map. So as you can see, we're in this area. Let's start off by laying things out. Where do we want to choose to put the map? Do we want to do an upright one? I reckon here looks like quite a nice spot. I don't actually have the southernmost bit of the map yet, so what I'm going to do is just for temporary storage, let's just do this. 1, 2, 3, there we go, okay. Lovely, so next up, let's start getting the next lot of our maps in. So that one goes there. Then we went 1, 2, 3, 4, I think. 1, 2, 3, no, 3, 4, there we go. So there's the start of our industrial district. And let's go and check out that sheep farm, which I mentioned earlier. So as we can see, it is here nice and rainbow. I've just got 2 sheep for each of them. They produce enough wool for what I need, which is nothing at the moment. So they're just here looking pretty. Some of them did get struck by lightning, so that is why there is now a lightning rod here to prevent that from happening again. I should probably put one over there as well, now that I think about it. So in episode 21, we started work on this quality of life crafting section where we are crafting up rockets, golden carrot and scaffolding. So in order to do this, I needed to create some new modules and the outputs would be slightly different. So as you can see, there's these boxes here. I can come and I can just pick up a full box here and then replace it with one from my ender chest. So it's very similar to this storage system here. In order to do this, I of course needed to make a paper farm, which is what we have over here for our sugarcane, which is getting immediately converted into paper in this system here. This also allowed us to start making books for our lecterns. Episodes 22 and 23 saw me undertake the beginning of a new terraforming project while I'll be making a beach so that it'll be nice to fly over and some cliffs over at the end over here. So this is what is going to connect up with the terrain from our witch's village and the forest over there. And as you can see, the waves are made out of glass and snow to create the foam, and I think it makes a really nice effect and is much nicer than any of the beaches we have in the real world. No, any of the beaches that we have in the game. All of the real oh, I'm stumbling over my words. I've offended the real world. Any of the real world beaches are better than this one, but I prefer this one to any of the Minecraft ones. Our cliffs here, we have some sandstone rocks that have fallen down from the cliff, and our sandstone cliffs which rise up to give way to our terrain that will eventually connect up all of this forest. And we're going to have a nice big deforested area in here, and we've got the rest of the forest coming here. 1, so I don't have to build as many trees. 2, because it adds a little bit of storytelling into our world. What also adds a little bit of storytelling into the world is this bit here. I tried to do this as geographically accurate as possible, where the river meets the sea, and we have a spit forming, so the river is a little bit rediverted. I'm quite happy with how this has turned out, and I actually really look forward to carrying on this project as well. In order to make the cliffs, I needed a lot of rooted dirt and oak wood, so I created an oak and rooted dirt farm, which we will go and see in the factory in a minute. but we have this map here to sort out again. So let's start by making a map here. I believe we are at our most southern point here. We might have to go a little bit more south. No, I think we're right here in terms of going south. It looks really cool on a map. I've only just seen it. This is one of the reasons why I love making maps. So let's come over, let's sort our maps out for now, and then have a look at that farm that we talked about just earlier. That one's there. So that means that we've got one that I didn't explore that one fully either. Like an idiot. Right, I've got to go and do that one again. Okay, so that's where we are now. And that has got most of it on. So that's our southernmost point. So now we've got to connect up over here. I guess we've got to connect all of this up as well. But we are not focusing on that at the time being. We are focusing on the next of our farms that made it into our industrial district. This one isn't hooked up to the factory because it's not producing anything we want in there. So this is our moss / bone meal / rooted dirt / oak farm here. So it's producing bone meal from this moss farm. It's self-sufficient, and then it can also power the bone meal for this one here, where it is creating rooted dirt by using stone, moss, bone mealing, azaleas, boom, all automatic here. And that is creating all of the materials that I would need for that cliff project over that way. Lots of wood, some rooted dirt coming in, and a lot of moss coming in there as well. Episode 24 was last episode, so if you are up on your lore, then you will know exactly what we did last time. What we did last time was, of course, if I can remember, we built this honey farm here for our honey blocks, and we also built some villager farms over here for our carrots, for our golden carrots, and our wheat for our target blocks. So that is kind of what we did. I also made a small cactus farm at some point. I don't remember when, but it was for something for the storage system, I think. No, I do remember now. It was for the beaches. We made it for the beaches. It's only temporary. It'll probably come down at some point, but we needed it for the cyan glass. So that's what that cactus farm came in handy for. So that there is all of our farms, all of our hard work that we have shown off. And it has taken me 25 weeks. Now, I'll be able to do all of this without feedback from you guys in the comments, and without you guys liking and watching and encouraging me to carry on with this project. I would not have been as motivated to build all of this, yet alone the build projects as well, and have all of the plans for the future. I've got a lot of ideas for the future that I do really want to get into, but I know how long term those ideas are, so those are going to have to take a back foot, and hopefully I'm still doing this in a year so that we can see some of those ideas realised, and I get to really dig deep to what I want to do, because this is my favourite it's my favourite build full stop, the factory, and I think I can top it. But of course I don't want to get burnt out, as I am playing this in my free time, and I do start work back up again soon, so progress is probably going to slow down. There's the flying machine over there going as well. And of course we haven't done that much building, but that is more just because I don't feel as comfortable building. I feel much more at home building an industrial district like this. So I hope to challenge myself, and over the next 25 episodes, as we head over hopefully towards that 50 episode mark, that's where we're aiming for now. The secret project, I'm going to release for full now, so I'm going to leave a link to that in the description of this video if you are interested in it. I haven't really had the time to work on it as much as I would have liked to. I'd have liked to have started that by now, but it's on the back burner. You might see it pop up, you might not, but if you are interested in that, then have a look at that in the comments below, and leave a comment on that video as well to tell me that you're interested in seeing this project, the secret one. So please do that, and then I can stop putting it in the description even though no one's found it. 2 people have found it, so if you are one of those 2, thank you very much. One of them is I know in real life though, and I've told about it, and but shut up Max. The skits at the end of the episode, not going to do in this episode, can't be bothered. Will I carry them on? Yeah, probably. Why not? Some of them are fun, some of them aren't as fun. Here I am. There we go. So if you had made it this far in the video, thank you very much for watching this. If you've watched any other of my videos, thank you very much as well. It's actually crazy. Like looking back, flicking through, seeing what I've done is crazy. Like that people have actually stopped and watched the videos is mind blowing, especially with almost 5,000 people watching one of them as well. Like that's crazy. It's really really cool, and it's just really nice to see. If you could, like, if you say anything, if you commented, like, subscribe, thank you very much. It means so much to me, and hopefully I can keep on doing that and giving you some enjoyment. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to sign off, and then I'm going to leave the big map at the end. So if you want to have a look at that, then you can always pause it and have a look at that. So thank you very much, and goodbye. Cool, my voice hurts now. That was all in one. This is going to be a pain to edit.